What's going on in the world?
Okay, so we've got everything going. Apparently, you either do Facebook or you do YouTube. So we're on YouTube. We're on Facebook now. I didn't know that.
Are we
can't
on
do
both?
No,
Oh, you can.
we can't do both. Apparently, I
Okay.
didn't know that. Okay,
Well.
but we're on my Facebook page and we're on recording now, and that'll be up on various channels later. So this is NewsEvolution with Laura Eisenhower, who's not here today, and Patty Greer, who's here, obviously, and Alfred Webre. And Patty, why don't you bring us up to date? I'm going to turn the talking stick over to you.
Oh, the talking stick. I haven't heard of that in a while, not since the last circle. So today I saw the most meaningful video and it totally surprised me. I have eagles where I live. And I had seen a blurb somewhere that crows are the only birds that fly with eagles. And so up where I live, I see these crows constantly. And they're flying with the eagles and this huge, gorgeous grace. And then these cackling crows. So today I thought, actually had my business partner here from out of town, and he saw them, you know, the birds playing, and he was like, well, what's up with that? So I looked online to see eagles and crows. And I thought I was going to see something that was just factual. And it was simply factual that the eagle does agree that the crow can fly with him. But then when the crow starts nibbling on the neck, the eagle knows enough to fly higher and higher because he can do better with bigger lungs. And the crow will fall literally backwards when he runs out of oxygen. And this video was a gentleman talking over it, saying this is a lesson for people, for all of the people nibbling at you and being negative and being all these things that'll make you start to doubt yourself, which is pretty rampant right now. They suggest in this video that you be like the eagle and fly higher. That just hit me right in the right place, because constantly now I'm going to remind myself, if I need to, fly higher. I live still near Boulder, Colorado, but no longer as close as I was. And they quit the ridiculous mask mandate. I don't mean to be disrespectful. I'm very sorry for anyone that got sick. I want to be very clear. I don't disrespect what anybody or their family went through. But what we're going through today is such a pantomime, and we're so far beyond the point of evidence. And because I'm a documentarian, I've always gone for facts and evidence that we can see and read. And I also read people because I am old enough that I take the time to listen. And I think that's the big difference between people today, is some people listen and some people choose to not listen. And there's a huge distinction. And now we've got this even larger distinction, which I think is going to be the greatest social test that humanity has ever had, which is, do you want to be part of the control group or part of the experiment? And the separation is so huge that there's no gray anymore. Everybody that decided to be part of the experiment may or may not be in for some shocking outcome to their decision. And when we realize that this was all set up where nobody can be held accountable, if you fall down, get real sick, die, whatever, nobody's responsible because it's an experiment, and they made that clear. So the control group over here, oh, shame, shame. Oh, shame, shame. You didn't step up and be a great American. Whoa. It's like most of us will say, I have so many super intelligent friends, but they went somewhere else. And a while ago, it was like the kettle calling the kettle black. And now there's this huge separation of what some people think are sheeple, who are people that act like sheep and just, you know, go with the herd. And they expect the government to be their best friend, and they respect all those names that we won't mention, or the show gets removed. So that right there should be enough of a clue. If you can't mention people's names and document with evidence ever on a show like this live, we've got a problem. And we know we have a problem, but it's interesting how really smart people aren't digging deeper and asking questions. And a lot of people think that because of their work, even though it's completely illegal, they have to step in and be a good American and do what is conforming and obey. And you can get a free turkey. I remember last year. Now you can get a raffle ticket, or 6 people will get a college education because they want 18 and younger to offer up the arm and be a part of the experiment, which may be fabulous. Who knows? Maybe, it'll be really good for things that they don't even know yet. But if all the thousands of doctors and all kinds of experts have been suppressed on a regular basis now all year, and arrested and punished so severely, and now we can't really be totally generous with the truth. But if people aren't feeling what's going on with all that suppression, then people aren't feeling at all. And as we move into this effects of offering up your arm for this thing, the effects are being called VAXX-idents, like not accidents, but with a V in front, accidents. And they're crashing into things because they're passing out right after the experimental input into their arm. I looked across the street. My neighbor is wearing a body brace from the waist up. This is firsthand. And I was like, my God, what are you doing? And why are you gardening with a body brace? She said, well, I fell in the kitchen the other night and I've got something wrong. And so she's who knows how long. And the doctors was so mean. And I said, I know it was because of the thing in the arm. And that poor lady. And somebody close to me just fell and had to cancel some big things, fell. And she had had the thing in the arm a few weeks ago. I saw some friends tonight eating outside, and I knew they both did it, the experiment, a month ago. And I respect them. They're such smart people. And both of them, I'd never seen them both really bloated, like shocking. So firsthand me with my mine eyes, I spy with my own eyes. Amazing things happening with people that are willing to be part of the experiment. And my masseuse, I've said to her, you have to tell me, because I won't be able to come to you anymore if you do this. And I feel strongly about protecting myself. I'm not out there trying to train anybody or scare anybody, but I think that the scaring has already been done. And they've done it on such a mass level with such a thick playbook. This has been done before in very bad countries that treat their people terribly. So right now you've got 2 choices. You're the only one that can decide, but these poor kids, they have parents deciding for them, thinking that this is a good idea to let this happen to their children. And if anybody does the research behind these suppression and all that, these things stay up for 24 hours before they're removed. But there's too many people being removed at a time when people deserve both sides. There aren't both sides on social media because it's all been taken over, as is Hollywood. So there's these 2 understandings. What do you mean, Hollywood? And I'm like, yeah, how flat is it right now? Are we seeing, I don't know. I mean, I don't look at those blogs, or I don't have a TV for 15 years at least. It would seem to me that we would have seen more, heard more. It seems like there's nothing going on, which could then be true. Were those people all wearing ankle bracelets put on by officials? Is it true that they were all doing terrible things and have all been hauled away? We don't know because we have no media any longer. And I learned my lesson a few years ago. I got sued for saying things online. And I was one of the early ones. I think I was one of the look what'll happen. Yeah, I think I was in the first wave of guinea pigs they were testing. But what I've been through after making 8 films about crop circles and free energy, ooh, another suppression term. I did it differently though. I didn't read other people's books and copy their data. I went and personally laid in more than 100 crop circles because I was fascinated. And it was so amazing. I bought a camera and just kept filming and filming. And I would tell stories. I had no experience, no plan to do it. But sometimes when we get dealt a difficult situation, like I went to the crop circles for this miracle healing and completely forgot about what I was dealing with. So I look at my life kind of as a flow, a timeline where the less we fight it, the better we're going to do. And now I've got this new thing whenever people are nipping at your neck, which doesn't happen much anymore because I don't let that skanky energy in, but fly higher. Always remember, if somebody's chewing on you, and fly higher, which means take your consciousness and go to a better place with it. So you don't have to be a part of what all this is. And we're going to be tested. I think this is graduate course. Alfred, don't you think it's kind of graduate course for humanity where no matter how good your life is, and God, I love my life in so many ways, but I am also living in a body that was affected by demons, real demons, looking like humans, but empty vessels doing really bad work. And I've been hit and hurt a few times, and I'm in my 60s, and I'm stunned that I have the greatest attitude still because I believe in humanity. I believe in freedom. I believe that I have attracted to me much better people than ever before in my life, like my friend Alfred. We have been doing shows more than 10 years. And even though our beliefs have been different on a few things, we still weave in and out of each other's lives because we both believe in telling the truth, our perception. Doesn't mean I'm right. Doesn't mean he's flawlessly right. I don't know, but that's all we have to share with the world. So as I look at my day and my opportunities on shows like this to be encouraging people to be the best versions of themselves, I hear everybody's got a story. Oh my God, my best friend, we can't talk anymore. And I went through that 5 years ago, and it's political. It's so strange that politics, for even people like me, never interested in politics. It always kind of smelled like trash because the people were so dishonest. But now it's so massive that we have to care. We have to start watching. We have to look at these audits. We have to listen to the people that are suppressed, as well as the opposite, which is CNN and I don't even know those channels. CNBC in America. Canada's got their own channels of darkness and channels that are being suppressed because darkness owns the media in America. So they're just sweeping every day. Most of our friends, Laura, she was swept. Alfred's been swept. Mine went away when I was making Crop Circle and Free Energy movies and winning awards. Those are 2 of my EBs over there on the side of the crystal. I won 5 of those for Best Film and Music and People's Choice, which was really a great honor when I was a part of ufology. But I was a part of it when the great 4-star generals were there at the events. It was such a great honor. And I've watched it decline right before my eyes. And all of the great masters disappeared, passed away. And somebody tried to get me to pass away, but I made it. So every day when I wake up, even though I hurt and I limp and I've got ridiculous cuts on the ends of my finger from mercury poisoning. That's one of 6 today. I live like this because I know that we're going to get to the other side. I have been affected by bad people, demons, because I chose to tell the truth. And I still do today, but I'm a lot tamer than I was, because it got me in trouble. So I feel bad for all the people getting in trouble now. It's awful, but I made it. And a lot of people didn't. And so I think my life right now is more important than ever, for myself, because I feel like a true survivor who's gone through more than most people. And I'm basically changed my world, leaving the field of ufology when it went and tanked. And now, you know, this big Space Force thing, I'm looking at the people that, I don't know if you saw Rachel Maddow introduced David and Corey. I don't want to say their last names. It's only for people who know who they were. But she mentioned them and joked about them. And then Tucker Carlson had the guy from TTSA on, Luis Alessandro. And there's this part of me just thinking, oh God, is this really going to be what, you know, hits national TV next? Is people like this telling us that this is what UFOs are, the blue feathered things, and, you know, making a mockery, basically making a mockery, which the masks have been. It's a test of our willingness to obey, our submission. I can't even believe it's still going on. Today, I took my kitty to the vet, and the text said, you have to wear a mask. So of course I came in with a mask, and the doctor walked in and said, could you please put it above your nose? I'm sorry, but the Boulder mask mandate went away a month ago. What's going on? Why are we doing this? Why are we believing something when Fauci's emails, oops, came out, and literally he made a deal with 3M? And I think the email is real because it sure looked like it, where he said, if you don't pay me $200,000, I'll go public that these things are useless. Another email was making a deal with somebody else about the fake mask mandates. But the fact that I had to pull it up over my nose today, I love my kitty, so I did it. I obeyed. But wow, we're going to be tested. And I'm pretty strong and I'm pretty smart, but everybody I know is really being tested. So my solution, I'm just going to mention it because I think it's why I'm here. And it's also my new business because I know it works. Carbon 60. The C60 molecule is the strongest carbon, one of the greatest healing remedies of my life. And thank God I found it at the right time. I started walking again, but I'm not scared of getting that disease because my immune system is so boosted. And the company's going like this. It's just totally blowing up because everybody that tries it gets on monthly subscription. It works. Alfred was doing it for a while. And some people, you do it for a chapter and then you're done. I don't know how long I'm going to do it, but I do a tablespoon a day, and I'm in my 60s. I was poisoned by uranium 2 years ago. I mean, when I say I've been tested by demons, I'm really being soft spoken. I have really been hurt by bad people, and I still smile authentically because there's only a few of them. But then I look at the government, it's like, there's only a few of them, but how did they get in control? How did he get in my garage and leave that uranium? Like, how do bad people not feel anything afterward? And no matter what the answer is, punchline is go higher. No matter what you learn, no matter what you know, the longer you let that thing peck at your neck, the longer you're going to have that thing pecking at your neck. So I love it that I saw that video today because I want to inspire all of us with the thought, anytime you're feeling perturbed or henpecked or crow-pecked, fly higher. And then the rest of your life goes that way too. I am really seeing improvements because I've locked in my attitude, and it has a lot to do with C60. And the evolution EVO of C60 is a molecule that hardly anybody sells, but we own the lab that's been making it for 30 years. And I just want to recommend it if you want to survive. And if you got that thing in the arm and you need to heal, there's so many things that'll explain what's going on our website, but it's going to be huge. And it's why business is going like this, is because people need it. It does mental balance. It does physical immunity like nothing I've ever used. So take good care of yourselves. Spoil yourselves a little. If you want ice cream, have it, because who knows? There might be no ice cream in a month. But there might be free ice cream also. I mean, I truly believe in the Jubilee. I don't think we're headed for communism. I believe in the Jubilee, and I've always been that optimist. So keep that in mind. And every day matters. If you think about the greatness of a possibility of Jubilee, which means everybody's free and no more corruption, or believe in the horridness of what's going on and that it's never going to stop, that's where your mind is going to go. So think higher, fly higher, and best of luck to all of you. All right, Alfred.
Well, thank you, Patty. That's really soaring advice.
Gotta be.
Thank you. Well, I am going to share a work in progress. And to do that, I've got to share screen. So I'm just going to do my little share screen here and bring everybody around. And I'm just wondering, can you see a thing here that says the Chronogarchy?
Yes.
Oh, good. Okay, so as you know, I am an author, and I'm an author of 6 or 7 books, 7 or 8 books, and you can find them everywhere on Amazon. You can find them at universebooks.com. And this is one of the books that I have in progress, and it's Andy Bishago, a chrononaut, a time traveler, says that I invent neologisms, that is, new words. And the Chronogarchy means the time government. And so this is sort of sharing with you the outlines of my new book in progress. It's a book that has 3 parts, and I've now completed part 1, and I've got the table of contents for part 1, and I just wanted to share that with everybody, to share the table of contents of part 1. And this is something new that is coming onto the market now. You could find out a lot about time travel if you like fiction. And if you go on, for example, you've heard of Back to the Future. Well, all the Back to the Future movies, Back to the Future 1, 2, and 3, were taken off of Netflix as of June 30th, 2021. And why is that? Because the Chronogarchy, the secret time travel government, had been leaking distorted facts about itself through the time travel movies, which people thought were entertainment, but are really facts. But in order to hide itself, the Chronogarchy has been leaking facts about itself through the time travel movies. And they just took Back to the Future parts 1, 2, and 3 off of Netflix as of June 30th, 2021. So I made sure that a few days before June 30th, I watched that for research purposes. And there are many other just Google time travel movies, and many of those are actually produced by or with leaks from the Chronogarchy, the secret time travel government, to just put a spin on it so that the general public believes that, oh, it's all fiction. It's all fiction. There isn't a secret time travel government manipulating human events, human history, and even the interlife. They've even infiltrated the reincarnation cycle and determined that one. That's how controlled this planet Earth is. And so the title of the book is The Chronogarchy: How a Secret Time Travel Government Manipulates Human Events, Human History, and the Interlife. Now, how did we find out about this? Well, because let's go to the first chapters here. Part 1, the early documentation of the Chronogarchy. The first kind of section is this is part 1 of the 3-part book. What is the Chronogarchy? Well, we'll talk about that there. A personal introduction to the Chronogarchy. And that's because the Chronogarchy met with me in 1971 when I was general counsel of the New York City Environmental Protection Administration in 1971. And the Chronogarchy time traveled one of my books, Exopolitics, which it had located in time space. Exopolitics is a book that founded the science of exopolitics that I would not write until 1999, and that was published as a trade book, textbook like softcover, in 2005. And the Chronogarchy time traveled it from 2005 or thereabouts back to at least 1971 or before. And then when I was in 1971 in the general counsel of the EPA, they called me in supposedly to give them a speech, but it was really to look at me, about 50 men in suits. And I thought I was giving them an address, but they were really looking at me because they had seen my book that I would write in 1999 and that would be published in 2005, creating the field of exopolitics. So that's what I call time travel surveillance. And so that's one of the first sort of subchapters of the book. Another is time travel and political control, how time travel is used for political control. And we go into there how presidents and other offices are pre-identified, very often decades in advance, and how they're groomed to be presidents or prime ministers or other offices, and that's why things never change. Webre, how Andrew D. Basiago, chrononaut, was predicted to be a planetary level whistleblower for Mars life and time travel. How a secret DARPA time travel program may hold the key to understanding the deep politics of 9/11, the false flag operation of 9/11. In fact, the Chronogarchy had all of the facts of September 11, 2001, 30 years in advance in 1971, and had moving images. A chrononaut, Andrew D. Basiago, and his father were in the Time Sciences Laboratory in New Mexico and saw moving images of 9/11 in 1971. And we go deep into that and show how these false flags are created through the chronogarchy. Then we show how anti-gravity UFOs, Tesla time travel, directed energy weapons, mini nukes were four advanced technologies used in creating false flags like 9/11. And we talk about the whistleblowers, the chrononauts, the different time travelers that emerged to confirm the reality of time travel. Then this is one of the earliest interviews that I did with our colleague Laura Eisenhower. He's part of NewsEvolution. When whistleblower Laura Eisenhower, Ike's great-granddaughter, outs a secret Mars colony. This goes way back when she came out, and it turns out that her aunt, Mary Jean Eisenhower, was part of the secret Mars colony. I mean, these things are wheels within wheels. Questions: are you on a positive future timeline or on a catastrophic timeline? That's what Patty was just talking about. It seems that humans are dividing up into different timelines and different choices. We show about Barack Obama and his involvement in the secret time travel, and how his birth certificate was a total forensic forgery, and how he was the son of an Indonesian cult leader, Muhammad Subud, and how that whole thing was created by the Chronogarchy. And we show a hidden time travel story behind Jesse Ventura and Piers Morgan. This is when Piers Morgan took over from Larry King on CNN, and Piers Morgan had Jesse Ventura on as a guest, and Jesse Ventura had me on as a guest on his show for a couple of times, including on the time travel show. And then I revealed on that Barack Obama was a lifelong CIA creation, that he was in fact the son of Mohammed Subud. And Piers Morgan, who's a CIA, who's a deep state asset, right in the middle of this CNN thing, put my picture up on the wall and said, who's this Looney Tune that says that Obama is a deep state asset, you know? And then Jesse Ventura, who knew very, very well what this about, didn't stand up to defend me. So I had to go to the president of CNN, you know, and demand equal time. I mean, the media is so corrupt, including Jesse Ventura and Piers Morgan, that'll blow your mind. Then we have two whistleblowers more report independently teleporting to Mars using this teleportation. Teleportation is teleporting along a single timeline. Time travel is teleporting along multiple timelines. So it's the same basic technology. Then we have Obama Sotoro, Barry Sotoro, turns into Barack Obama because he paid a visit to the courthouse here in Skookumchick, British Columbia, and changed his name, and it's all on the court, you know, and time travel in the US Supreme Court. It just, the whole house of cards is coming down with this book. And then sneaking time travel education into Looper. There's a movie called Looper about time loops, and then that's how they sneak in the time travel. The Chronogarchy sneaks it in for the movie-going public, but it puts in stuff so that they come out confused and can't like figure out what's going on. A good colleague of mine, Fernando Vossa, and I, preparing for teleportation and time travel. Obama, the 2012 time travel captured US presidency, how Obama and the Chronogarchy captured the US presidency through time travel. The time travel and 9/11 pre-identification of US presidents. That was the Jesse Ventura program. And Obama, how Obama was pre-identified in 1971 by secret time travel as a US future president. Then an essay that I wrote in 2016, that this was the famous 2016 when Donald Trump ran, says, CIA time travel pre-identification is why I switched from running in 2016 as a US presidential candidate to exposing the 2016 base. Then time travel pre-identified US President Andy Basiago announces his candidacy to millions of potential write-in votes. And when Andy released his 100 proposals, New Agenda for a New America, where he proposed a global teleportation system. And in the universe, in our galaxy and universe, on advanced planets, you don't achieve an advanced planet status unless you have global teleportation. And it was Donald Rumsfeld who ran the teleportation system for Richard Nixon secretly, that vetoed the public having the energy for teleportation, which is what we can define as free energy. Says no, that can just be for the military to get US troops to the battlefield quickly. So that's why our planet has been kept back in the Stone Age. And this is the same Rumsfeld who died just a few days ago, I think last week. He, more than anybody, along with Nixon and all and Kissinger, are responsible for keeping this planet Earth in this kind of Stone Age, conflict planet. A positive timeline may result in a positive US president. Then we show the evidence that DARPA CIA time travel pre-identified Trump as a future US president. And we did interviews, and by June 2016, we had all of the evidence from DARPA chrononauts and from the secret time travel program. The CIA had identified and briefed Trump in 1971 that he was going to be a future US president. And we published that prior to the election. Now, could we get Trump to own up to that after the election, Mr. Honest? No, Trump has continued the cover up. That's the problem with him, is that he's part of the Chronogarchy. And then US time-space veterans reveal the role of Howard Hughes in the secret space program. Howard Hughes was really one of the major figures in the time travel US space program. Where did all this technology come from? The time travel machine, the Chronovisor, it was developed by the Vatican, who subcontracted it to the Pentagon. So there you go. With these time travel devices, you can time travel not only in time, but you time travel to the spiritual dimensions. So you can go and time travel to the afterlife and time travel to, and talk with people in the afterlife, and also visit events in the time matrix. We talk about the UFO ET abductions of President Carter, Andy Basiago, and myself, in which Jimmy Carter, US Colonel Andy Basiago, and myself were abducted by the same group of ETs, so that who took us aboard their craft so that Jimmy Carter was trained to win the presidency. I was trained to become Jimmy Carter's director of the Jimmy Carter White House Extraterrestrial Project, and Andy Basiago was aboard the craft to witness the fact that I was up there. So this is just, it just shows how, and these are all the positive ETs. These aren't the negative reptilian ETs, the ones behind the Bush gang, Bush and Reagan and these who are part of the Chronogarchy. Those are sort of it's the Draco reptilians that are behind there. So we get into that kind of a thing. Then we showed Trump and the time travel Chronogarchy made the ascension. I know this is going to bend some of the people who are Trumpites a little bit out of shape. I know that Patty and I have gone back and forth on this issue. Russian deep state perestroika infiltrated the US quantum deep state program, groomed and behaviorally controlled future US presidents from George H.W. Bush to Donald H. Trump. It's the Chronogarchy that infiltrated the time travel program so that you had a dark side to the time travel program and a white hat side to it. And you can go on Netflix and watch these time travel series that are just like this. They tell the whole story as though it's a fiction, but it's really, they even have what they call sleeper agents, where they'll put Chronogarchy sleeper agents in time so they can carry this out. The real Chronogarchy has sleeper agents in time. They have sleeper agents back in the Civil War. They have sleeper agents all over so that when they send assets back and forth, they can perform maneuvers. And these fictional series on Netflix do the same thing. So that's how they release this information to the public, but make it look like it's fiction. It's really quite amazing. Now, Andrew D. Basiago, American hero, time travel Mars explorer. He is now legally blind and he's lost his vision. When he ran for president in 2016, they hit him with directed energy weapons and drove him totally legally blind. Andy had said that he wanted me to be his Secretary of State or ambassador to the UN. They hit me in July of 2016. I don't have any vision they took away the direct vision in my right eye, but Andy's now completely blind. This is retaliation from the Chronogarchy. So, and the next chapter is planetary ascension is not on a time schedule. Density frequency is on a vibrational schedule. The Chronogarchy secret time travel government's role is to slow down the frequency shift. The Chronogarchy's pre-identified and groomed US president, Donald Trump, Bush 1 and 2, Clinton, Obama's primary function is to halt and slow ascension, both personal and planetary. And this is sort of a draft of it. Let me just go through. This is going too much. 2020, in 2020, the Chronogarchy used secret time travel to identify winners and create the artificial political divide. Andy Basiago, who's a whistleblower from the Chronogarchy, see, Biden was pre-identified as the future US president after Trump. Biden has been on the circuit for a long time, and Andy Basiago shares stories of how Biden was crisscrossing the country for all these years that he was in Congress in preparation for being placed in the White House by the Chronogarchy. All this is by the Chronogarchy. Now that the deep state in conjunction with the People's Republic of China, they control this. The People's Republic of China has made it illegal to even talk about time travel because they don't want it. In the US, the Chronogarchy allowed it even to come out in things like Netflix shows. But the People's Republic of China is to make it totally verboten. So that's what the future is like. So we're up against something. So the part 2 is that we're going to have testimony from chronogarchies, from chrononauts, time travelers who are whistleblowing, exposing the chrononauts. We're going to have all of their testimony, all this in transcript. And part 3 is how humanity and planet Earth can reach a positive timeline beyond the manipulation by the chronogarchy. In other words, we are going to get out of here, folks. And so I just wanted to leave a message with people that there is a way out of here, and it's through the exposing the chronogarchy, which is the secret time travel government. So that's what I wanted to share today. So there we are. So never a dull moment.
Wow, that was a boatload of chapters. And you got to be so careful. I'm glad it's you and not me. I've taken my turn. And I'm proud of you. You're just a nonstop encyclopedia of the multiverses.
All right. Well, we've sort of come to our conclusion today. Do you want to leave some words with our audience?
Well, I want to let people know, like you with your books, fabulous, where they can find them. My films, this is my final film, Crop Circle Diaries. It won Best Film in the People's Choice Award. And it's my final film. It has the science and everything about crop circles in it. And this was an earlier one before I knew the science. Crop Circle Update, well, it needed to be updated again. But this one is really gorgeous. It won Best Musical Score and Best Film. It was really fun. But what it is that I wasn't making movies like trying to create something, but rather sharing an experience of something that I was in and overwhelmed by, because it was so real. I couldn't believe it. And I just wanted to share it. So my website is cropcirclefilms.com. And if you want to be really healthy and get on something easy to take on a spoon in the morning, the evolution of C60, not just any C60, but the evolution is pure ESS60, which only our lab makes in the whole world. And lucky me, I'm partners with the guys that have been doing it for 30 years. They've got it mastered. So I get it for free, which, woo, but I'm also a partner in the company, and I create the facial serum and the body lotions and amazing products. But the main thing is we want to get ourselves healthy and keep our minds as balanced and kind and gentle as possible. And if I can give any advice to all of us and myself every day, it's just be nice. You know, we're in this right now, and really smart people are just, I'm right. Well, I'm right. And we don't want to lose all of our friends and respect of our neighbors. So it's intentionally insane right now, and we're all being tested. But the way to graduate with ease, in my opinion, is find things that work for you. C60 Evo, the carbon 60 miracle molecule, it works for me. And I feel really grateful that it's part of my life now. And the movie chapter, I leave behind because ufology changed, but this doesn't change. This is a piece of history. And people knew back then, but 3 distributors, wow, all of them hid my film. So I didn't know until now who we were really being controlled by and what was happening to all the good stuff. So keep your mind clear and do your best to find the good stuff. And listen to people that inspire you, that make you feel good. And again, if they start chewing on your neck, punchline, go higher, do yourself a favor. Love you all. Thank you for being with us, and stay well. Alfred, any final words?
Yes, thank you. Let me just go quickly here. You can, I don't know whether can you see my books there? Yeah, so these are some of my books, and you can find them at universebooks.com or Amazon or fine bookstores, wherever books are sold. And you can get them in ebooks, or you can get them in soft covers. And the Chronogarchy will be there soon. So this is the exopolitics started that, founded the science of exopolitics. Exopolitics was voted a new word in the English language in 2005. That's quite an achievement.
Right.
This is the omniverse, the dimensional ecology of the omniverse. This is my 2014 book. You've got the universe, the multiverse, and the omniverse. The universe was discovered in 3500 BC. The multiverse was discovered in 1895, and the omniverse was discovered in 2014. And this is one of the 3 books that did it. So that's an accomplishment. Hey guys, get with the program. This is a generation that brought in the omniverse. Go to universebooks.com and you'll get there on the omniverse. I mean, take advantage of this incarnation on this planet to find out what the omniverse is. It's the next improvement after the universe, the multiverse, and then there's the omniverse. Okay, well, I am very, oh, and then let me just do one more, because last night I watched again the movie The Matrix. Did you ever watch that one?
Yeah.
And that was about the one. And this is a book, My Journey Landing on Heaven on Earth, that talks about my 1973 abduction, in which the extraterrestrial, I'm just going to say it, the ETs on the ships told me that I was the one. Now, I'm not saying that I'm the one, but the ETs told me that I was the one, okay? So you might want to read it. I don't know.
Your covers are gorgeous.
Thank you, thank you.
Really.
Thank you very much.
Did you do those?
No. All of those are done by, artists all over the world.
Really?
And there's a German edition of the Omniverse. There's a Hungarian edition. There's a Chinese edition of the Omniverse. Can you believe that? And now there's a Polish edition coming out. Even Poland is on top of the Omniverse. So America, get your act together, please.
Oh, me too. I pray every day. And when I get up in the middle of the night to make my tea, the second question with my pendulum is humanity winning?
That's a good one. Well, yeah. I just want to say that NewsEvolution is one of our funnest programs, NewsEvolution, with Patty Greer, Laura Eisenhower, and Alfred Lambremont Webre. We send you out healing vibes. We send you out the best vibes that we can. God bless, and stay safe, and soaring upward. As Patty said, what was your thing? Fly higher? Was that it?
What did it say? I had to write it down.
Oh.
It said go higher.
Go higher.
Go higher.
Until our next program, we come to you once monthly. Go higher. Thank you so much.